Gentile, a goal! Rossi turned away claiming it. Bergami. They've almost had too much time until it comes to Tardelli. And they've picked their moment. Conte with still further ground to go. And the chance for Altobelli. 3-0. Coutinho's off from King Juan Carlos of Spain. The World Cup.
The multi-million-pound industry that is Italian football thrives on glory. It demands success. 3 times champions of the world. The Italians don't hope to be here at the Olympic Stadium on July the 8th for the final. They expect to be. It was a beautiful afternoon in Rome, as you can see. And it's going to be red hot tonight. The temperature's rising, the heat is on. Austria stand in the way of a dream start for the hosts of the 1990 World Cup. Well, a very good evening from ITV and National Power. Well, one man who has stood here in triumph flew in this morning, Emlyn Hughes, who led Liverpool to glory here in the European Cup, the first time that Liverpool won it, way back in 1977 against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Evening, Emlyn. I said the old stadium's changed a wee bit.
Well, it has, yes. I mean, as you so rightly say, 1977 is a day that I'll never, ever forget. And I was proud to be the first Liverpool captain ever to pick up the trophy. And I thought it was a good stadium then, but they've made £140 million worth of amendments and improvements to it. And I'd like to think that we could do that to England, to our stadium, but I don't ever think that we'll host a World Cup again, which is another point, but a sad point.
Very briefly, Emlyn, is it a big void when you look back on your career that you never played in a World Cup finals?
It's a major void, and the only disappointment I never had, I played in 4 build-ups to World Cup, 70, 74, 78 and 82, but never actually kicked a ball in a World Cup final competition, so I'm very sad about that. Never mind.
Second best, isn't it, being here with ITV?
It is, yeah.
Well, the match kicks off on the hour. Also tonight we'll have updates, reports from the England, Scotland and the Republic of Ireland camps. Well, there were 2 important matches here in the World Cup play this afternoon. So for details and action of those and much more as well, I'm sure, Nick Owen in London.
Yes, good evening to you from our World Cup studios in London, where we can soak up the combined wisdom of Jimmy Greaves and Graham Taylor after we've seen highlights of 2 absorbing matches this afternoon. In Group B, the Soviet Union against Romania played in Bari, and in Group D, in Bologna, the United Arab Emirates against Colombia. Our commentators, Clive Tilsley in Bologna, and first Jerry Harrison for the Soviet Union Romania in Bari.
Fredosov getting it forward. Chance for Zavarov. And Long made a brilliant save there. And Romania getting themselves into all sorts of trouble here. Besanov can't get it. Alenikov. Zavarov once more. Alenikov. And again, Long makes a brilliant save. Now Sabal getting forward, doing well. This is Lakatouche. Lakatouche is in with a chance. And he's got it. Lakatouche has given Romania the lead 4 minutes from half-time. Sabal did brilliantly to get him the ball. He won it, he fed it early, and Lakatouche buried it past Dasaev. 1-0. It's a quick break from Lakatouche, and that looked like handball. Kidiachulin right on the edge of the area. No, outside the area, definitely handball. Referee was a long way away from it. And it's in the back of the net, 2-0. Here's Raducanu, who's really getting involved in the battle. This number 3, it should be for Lakatouche. Klein's cross, Lakatouche here, he's going to go for the volley. No, he isn't, he sets it up. Sabal could again have made that a very, very easy finish. He had the time.
Herrera will take the corner himself. Alvarez. Well, and Alvarez is onside here, and the Emirates defence really stretched. And a great chance at a goal. Redin has scored for Colombia. Now you can judge the offside for yourself. It was a good decision, perfectly timed run. And once Alvarez was there, and once the goalkeeper Musaba was committed, it was just a question of picking out the right man, and Redin was the right man. Estrada, that's a great ball. Now, what's Valderrama made of? We'll see if we've got one of the class performers of the World Cup or not now. Oh, we have! One of the most talked about men in the build-up to the World Cup. Gives us plenty to talk about.
Yeah, we'll look at that again in just a moment. First of all, let's see Group B, because there have been 2 matches there. And, Jimmy, I think you'd say really it looks sort of upside down with Romania and Cameroon at the top.
Just a little bit. I think the caption would look horribly wrong if we didn't know better, Nick.
Let's talk now about the Romania game. Graham, that first goal, I mean, you sure got hold of that,
Well,
didn't
we
he?
might just have had the first viewing of the star of the World Cup, or certainly a star, Lakatouf. People might have a go at the goalkeeper, but it's a tremendously well-hit shot. Gone in on the near post, but a great strike. But the player, Lakatouf, is a good player. Be interesting to see how it progresses during the tournament.
Okay, now what about this?
Well, it's a bad decision. I mean, it's as simple as that. Players make bad decisions, but this is a very bad decision by referee and linesman, wherever he is. That's 2 yards outside the middle.
Miles out. Jim, what about the Colombians?
I like.
I tell you what, before I talk about that, what's this on your shirt?
This is Nessun Dorma when Italy play, because that's what's going to happen tonight.
Which
Nick.
means what?
None shall sleep.
Right. OK, now let's talk about the
Right.
football.
I like the Colombians. I thought they played some really outstanding stuff. I know it was only against the Emirates. And Valderrama, he did play some wonderful football, finishing off with this superbly taken goal. A great asset to them. They knocked it about. I don't know. And the keeper, well, he came... I mean, the keeper is a real character. There's no question about it. If you look at him, he plays anywhere he likes, I think.
This is Higuita, isn't it?
It's Higuita, Rene Higuita. And you wouldn't want to meet him on a dark night down a back alley, would you? Look at him. But he is lovely. And there is the most courageous man in the stadium there, look. Being held up by a bit of string like that. No way. But I thought that they played very well, Colombia. Superb. Valderrama, I mean, at the end of the game, you can turn him upside down and clean the dressing room with it, can't you? With that hair.
Jim, thank you. Now, look, we've another chance for you this evening to voice an opinion on a World Cup issue, this time about Scotland. Their first game, remember, on Monday afternoon against Costa Rica, which you can see live, incidentally, on ITV. But who'll be in goal? Who do you think Andy Roxburgh should pick? Jim Leighton, Andy Gorham or Brian Gunn? Well, phone us with your choice. For Jim Leighton, the number's 0898 9066. Andy Gorham, 0898 9067. Brian Gunn, 0898 9068. And don't drop the phone. Right, let's get back to Rome now. And Elton.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Well, the atmosphere building up very nicely here, which is just about the understatement of the World Cup so far. Now, when it comes to understating the importance of football in Italy, the Italian press can certainly plead not guilty. One headline I've got here: failure will not be tolerated. Severe repercussions also talked about. Well, it's just a game, isn't it? Here's Gary Newbon.
Sophia Loren has been just one of Italy's famous personalities who've been wishing their soccer team success. La Loren met the team at this week's opening of their World Cup headquarters near Rome. Then the tournament favourites set about taking apart a select Rome team in their last warm-up match. There have only been 2 concerns in the Italian camp this week. The star player and striker Gianluca Vialli has been carrying a calf injury to his right leg, but he had recovered by yesterday's final training session, which took place in the Olympic Stadium. Then there's been manager Vicini's decision whether to play the world's most expensive player, Roberto Baggio.
And the surprise news for tens of thousands of Italian supporters arriving here at the Olympic Stadium is that £8 million player, Baggio, is not in their team tonight. Well, the supporters are very excited here, but they're all very well behaved as far as I can see, and that may have a lot to do with the fact that there's been a total ban on the sale of alcohol in the city of Rome today. The police have mounted a very big operation. It's going very well for them. They're searching every single spectator, body searches, taking all the cartons and bottles, even though they're soft drinks, off them as they come in. It looks as if it's going to be a peaceful evening for the police. It's going to be a very interesting evening for the city of Rome if Italy, as expected, do win.
Well, Thanks very much indeed, Gary. The atmosphere here right now, as Emlyn predicted a few moments ago, is really absolutely unbelievable. It's more physical than spiritual, isn't it?
You can feel it, and I've got a feeling it's going to be a cracking game because Italy's run up to these championships have been very, very poor as far as goals scored are concerned. And when you think that Austria have had some super results, they've won away in Spain, they've won against Holland, they beat Hungary, they drew with Argentina, which on the face of it's not a good result. It's going to be a cracking match, and I feel that Italy are just going to be about the better side, and I'm looking to Vialli and Cannavale to cause all sorts of problems up front.
Well, it's one of the things that's been talked about in the World Cup already is the hard-line approach by referees. I just wonder if things don't start going well for the Italians, whether their temperament will actually get them into a bit of trouble.
I've got a feeling that you're exactly right as well, Elton, because the Italians do tend to boil over, and when they do boil over, it doesn't just steam a little bit, it blows completely off, and the Italians are likely to start kicking a few people if it's going badly for them, and that's a possibility, but I honestly feel that Austria made for them, and I fancy Italy to win it.
Yeah. Thanks for the time being, Emlyn. Incidentally, 3 games in the World Cup so far, 8 bookings and 2 sendings off. Well, I have detected a certain amount of complacency in Italy these past few days, certainly about the first phase, a possibility that Donadoni and Vialli can actually attain full fitness for the second phase and the rest of the tournament, things like that, and that Austria are just here to make up the numbers. Well, here's Clive Tilsley with 1 or 2 reasons why that might not be the case.
This team goes to the group of Italy. The first team is Austria.
There was a confident air of elation in Italy when Austria were announced amongst their first phase opponents. The Austrians were the least convincing of all the European qualifiers. Even Turkey beat them 3-0. Tony Polster, their most prized possession, was the subject of press and public abuse at the time. Neither press nor public had ever dreamt he would score a hat-trick in the passport win over East Germany that enabled them to scrape into the barrel for the World Cup draw. Enter Gerhard Rodax, a new striking discovery capable of matching Polster goal for goal. Enter an Austrian challenge, unrecognisable in class and confidence from the qualifying competition. Last week in Vienna, they hit the crest of a growing wave of optimism, plundering 3 goals in the first 50 minutes of a friendly with the European champions Holland. The Austrian nation, without peer amongst pessimists, have excitedly watched their team stride unbeaten past Spain, Argentina, Hungary and now Holland en route to their date with the destiny of Italian World Cup hopes. Coach Josef Hickersberger is again a national hero, just as he was when he started as a player in the marvellous Austrian World Cup side of 1978. Then Hans Krankel pulled the rug from under German feet.
That's aim for Krankel, and he's got it. Krankel dropping onto his left foot. Coming again, Krankel!
A draw in Austria's World Cup group is never a laughing matter.
Do you know, this is really quite sensational. The match will be starting very shortly. We've got to take a break. Don't go away. This is going to be something quite special. See you soon.
With 2 forward, Cannavale on the right side, Vialli on the left at this moment. Vialli's marker is Rus. Good save. Cannavale had the opportunity. And really will be, as his expression shows, very disappointed not to have done better. Baresi did well then. Cannavale and Vialli. Corner. Ancelotti. Cannavale. To work a little harder than he might have if he'd have killed it first time. That's nice. Cannavale again. Escape for Austria. Vialli. It's been left for Ancelotti! And again they don't make it count. Fine dummy by Cannavale. Baresi. Donadoni took it down beautifully. and gets the cross. Oh, no! Carnevale the culprit again. It surely has to come right for him eventually, or is it to be one of those nights? Lovely play by Donadoni. Cross just in the nick of time. The goal was open, and Carnevale. Giannini. De Agostini got deflected. Good save. Donadoni.
Italy off to a winning start in what was overall quite an impressive performance. Later this afternoon,
Charlton ordered a Sunday of rest. A very private mass was held in the hotel grounds this morning. No cameras permitted. The Catholic faith, as well as a tremendous sense of team spirit, binds the Irish together, however far-flung they may be across Europe. As far as one man's concerned, however, Sunday is no different from any other day. Ronnie Whelan has been on the outside looking in for 2 months now. An undiagnosed injury at Liverpool has meant that a vital piece of Jack's jigsaw will be missing against England tomorrow night. And at 28 years of age, Whelan knows that possibly his only chance of appearing in the World Cup finals is in serious jeopardy.
It probably could be the only chance, but I'll have to try and get myself fit to get one game somewhere along the line.
Are you thinking of Egypt the next game, or are you thinking that you might have to miss that as well and be satisfied with Holland if you're lucky?
I will be satisfied with Holland if it comes to that, but I think I will be okay to play in the Egypt game.
Mind you, not so long ago you were saying you could still make the England one, weren't you? Was that wishful thinking?
When it was my foot, I thought I could easily make it, but my foot's okay. My foot's cleared up, no problem. And I was trying to get back fitness too quick, and I just pulled a muscle in my thigh trying to do too much.
You've overcompensated on the other leg a bit?
I think so, yeah. I've been limping about on my foot. I think that's probably how it happened.
That must be heartbreaking for you, especially after what you did in the European Championships a couple of years ago.
That's all finished now, isn't it? It's what we do now that counts. But as it's getting nearer to the game, it's getting worse for me. They're doing all the set pieces and all the little bits in training. I'm still more or less out of it, trying to get myself fit.
Where will you be on Monday night?
I'll be on the bench with the rest of the lads, hopefully. Hopefully we can get the result we want.
Ronnie Whelan there with Tony Francis. The question is, from the England point of view, will Gascoigne play or not against the Irish? Do you think he should, Ian?
I know he will. Somebody told me. But I would have played Webb, providing Webb satisfied his fitness. I would have played Webb. I wouldn't have gone Gascoigne.
What about you, Rodney?
I don't think he will play, but more importantly, I think that whether he does or not, he's being put under too much pressure. And to compare Gascoigne to Pelé, I think is like comparing Rembrandt to Rolf Harris. I mean,
okay.
I mean, he's under too much pressure. The lad's under too much pressure.
Right. So these two guys think he shouldn't, but Ian says he will. Let's see. What do you think at home? Should Paul Gascoigne play? One of the most exciting yet unpredictable players be in the British lineup at the start tomorrow night. Now, if you think he should, ring 0898 9000 66. If not, call 0898 9000 67. Calls cost 25p a minute at the moment, the result at the end of the programme. Well, now to the match in Florence this afternoon between the United States and Czechoslovakia. Ian's the only one round here who remembers watching the States the last time they appeared in the World Cup, back in 1950. In fact, he covered it for ITV. So here's a rundown of the American Soccer A-League 1990 from Gary Newbon.
As the United States players landed in Port of Spain last November, 40 years of being in the soccer wilderness was about to end. Paul Caligiuri scoring the most important goal in recent American soccer history to book their passage to Italy. They may now be walking on Italian soil, but as far as football goes, they still have to arrive on the international scene. Nevertheless, the players are amazed at the interest being shown in them at the moment.
It's somewhat overwhelming for us. I don't think any of our players really understand the magnitude of what we've gotten ourselves into in being in the World Cup, especially here in Italy. The fans and the people of Italy are very fanatical, very passionate people. And they've placed a lot of attention on our team, obviously, because the first time we've appeared in the World Cup, and again, we're going to host the World Cup in 1994. But we're trying to take it all in stride and trying to take everything that is thrown towards us in stride.
The American coach, Bob Gansler, is being kept pretty busy answering questions about unusual training methods. Games of handball have left the Italian press wide-eyed. Gansler prefers to address himself to the long-term future.
I think it's very important that we're here. The visibility, the chance for credibility are very important. but I don't think it's a do or die kind of a situation, and the game will not disappear in the United States based on what we do here.
The Americans delighted their fans with a 2-1 win over Finland in the States earlier this year. Beaten by the Soviet Union in a far more severe test, their inexperience was evident. Their confidence, though, remains sky high.
We feel that we're ready to go right now, and it really doesn't matter anymore. We don't have a say as to who we're going to play anymore. The teams have been picked, and we've got to go out and do a job. And we're professional athletes, and I think the professional athlete, even the Olympic athlete in the United States, really takes a lot of pride when they play for the U.S., and I think we're going to surprise a lot of people.
Well, Rodney Marsh, there's the question. Will they surprise a lot of people?
Well, they're very fit, very strong. They're very, very good in the air at both ends of the field. But I think they're a little bit naive, and they give the ball away in desperate situations sometimes that gets them in trouble. But it's the year of the underdog, so I'm rooting for the USA, and I think they'll get a result today.
Is there anyone you would pick out in particular that we should be looking for?
Well, the two forward players, Vermes up front and Wijnaldum are two good players. Bruce Murray coming from deep is a good player. And the boy Tritsch, who plays for me, central defender, comes up on corner kicks for headers, and that's where they're good. They're good on set plays, and they work a lot on headed attempts at goal.
Mm-hmm. What's the enthusiasm like within the team? And you get the impression that they're sort of loving it, but...
It's unbelievable. The whole country has gone mad, and the team is enthusiastic, and I don't think they realise where they are. They don't realise the pressure that's on them, and they're going to go out and run around and play and enjoy themselves, and good luck to them.
Right, Rodney, for the time being, thanks a lot. The match, what, late 70s?
Yeah, mid to late 70s it was enormous. Beckenbauer, Pelé and Giorgio Chignali and all the great English players came over, but there was no second level of play. There was no young players playing, and that's, you know, after the first 4 or 5 years, it all died a death.
Is this you in action here?
Yes, it's me making the winning goal against the Cosmos in front of 55,000 people in Tampa Stadium, and it was great in those days. It was marvellous. Big crowds, enormous crowds, and great players. But as I say, there was no second level of play, so there was no kids coming through to play after the superstars left, and you had a big void, and the league folded.
What gates do you get now, Rodney, there?
Anything from 3, 4, 5, 6,000 people. It's very much second or third division of England right now.
What do you actually play in now?
Well, the name of the new league is the American Soccer League, and it's really for young American players. There's a lot of young American college players playing there. Very few, if you will, stars from Europe or South America, and it's a grassroots come back to the game type project, and it's working. It's working.
That's where all these boys have come from. It's playing today.
That's exactly right, Ian. A lot of these players today are actually players that play in our league, and they're young players. And
let's just have a look.
Sometimes you feel ashamed about your profession, and I've been very concerned about the behaviour of some of my media colleagues here in Sardinia over the last couple of days. This is the main press centre in the stadium where England will play the Irish. 800 journalists are here working for TV, radio and the press. Many of them have come looking for trouble. They've been scouring the streets and the bars of Cagliari. Some have been buying drinks for fans, trying to stir up trouble. Now, what's happened so far probably wouldn't rate a couple of paragraphs in your local weekly paper. The authorities here are so concerned they're on the verge of issuing a statement condemning those antics. Blame the media is a popular cry. On this occasion, many of us have plenty to answer for. The sad fact is that if Sardinia stays quiet, a lot of journalists are going to leave the island very unhappy. The customary media swarm descended on Bobby Robson after England's last training session before the real thing. Mark Wright's out of contention for the Irish match. His strained neck is still restricting him. It makes him susceptible to the expected aerial bombardment. Terry Butcher's let the whiskers grow, putting on his fight face, but he's well relaxed behind that facade.
Hi, Rita.
The players know the lineup. They've been instructed to keep it under wraps. After 2.5 weeks here, I sense a mood of relief that they'll be let off the leash at last. The result will decide the mood of the squad. A win's great, a draw's okay. Defeat in the opening match would be a massive setback.
Jack Charl will be the same. He knows a good start is essential. He knows he plays us. He'll be looking for 2 points. He won't be looking to lose. We're the same. Unfortunately, we can't please each other, can we? You know, if we get a point, we'll be a bit disappointed. He'll be disappointed, so will I. It's a big match, and their players come from the same league as us. If you look at their players, we're in the first division. Same players, same league, same style of football, same problems. You know, so it's not an easy match for either of us. You know, and it's going to be a big match. It's going to be white hot on the day. exceptionally white-hot on the day. And anybody who's a little bit fluffy here or fluffy there, you know, is not going to play his part for that team. And I've got to make sure that we haven't got anybody like that in the team. So, you know, we need to get off to a good result. And we know Jackie Starr, we know what Jackie will be saying. He's done a marvellous job for Ireland. But, you know, our results and our record is equally as good. People forget, I think people forgot that, you know. It's quite amazing, but there it is. You soldier on, doing the best you can.
You just can't afford to be fluffy, can you? We'll be back.